Okay, I'm gonna do a real-time figure drawing demo here, just showing um, one process that I have for drawing the figure. The drawing that I'm doing, or at least the pose that I'm drawing here is from this photograph of which came from New Masters Academy actually. And it might look like a little bit of a difficult pose because the figure is bent over and actually twisting in this profile position. So it might look a little difficult, but um, I think like anything that might be very big or daunting when you first look at it, it's like try not try to get overwhelmed by it, but you take take it one step at a time. Take it one step at a time. You don't eat a whole meal all at once in one big bite. You eat it in several bites. So the first thing that was priority for me, as you can see here, was getting the gesture down. If you notice, like the lines that I have here, they might be very light for you guys, and that's the way you want your initial lines to be. You want them to be light, so you have some leeway if you need to like make adjustments. Um, Also, the quality of the line, you notice that all the lines that I have, are all of them are they're sweeping and flowing lines. So there's a feeling of a rhythm all throughout the figure. So once I get that down, I start like laying in like the large volumes here, like a large volume for the, like, the rib cage, for the pelvis, and I've already like thrown in a volume, which is basically just like a cylinder for the for the thigh here. But keep in mind, I'm putting that on top of the initial gesture that I drew. So the rhythms that I established from the first lines that I put down for the gesture is supporting these volumes that I'm putting on top of it. So I'm just not just putting um, just hard cylinders on here, um, but I want that flow and rhythm that I have in my initial lines to help support the volumes that I'm putting on top of it. Another thing that I keep in mind when I first draw, even at the initial like lay-in stage for the gesture, I do think about like matters of like weight. That's always been a big thing for me. That's something I think automatically. In this case, her left leg, which you can see is pretty straight, right? That's that's an aspect of the figure that I really take in consideration in terms of that being like um, the supporting anchor, shall we say, in terms of how she's doing this pose. Um, Figure drawing in some ways can be a little intimidating and it can be difficult sometimes. But in some other aspects, like once like you get like the basics down, it really need not be so difficult. Um, Basically, this whole thing is in three stages here, right? Which is laying for the gesture. You put the volumes on top, and then after that, it's really refining after that, like putting in or at least clarifying anatomy and also uh, the lighting. So maybe like three or four stages. Here I'm laying in the or at least I'm sorry, I'm defining more the scapula here. As you can see, um, it's the scapula is connected to what we call is like the shoulder girdle, and that's always like a, a key landmark for me in terms of um, being able to orient myself around how I'm fleshing out the figure. So when you draw, it's good. It's a good idea to know or to get comfortable or familiar with like certain like anatomical landmarks that are going to help you orient um, uh, drawing this figure in space. For me, some major ones is the scapula, the shoulder girdle, um, the ankles, um, the, uh, the pelvis. Um, and of course, we have like the spine as well. All these things are very very helpful just in terms of me saying, well, okay, if um, if the person, if the figure is in this position, um, the scapula, would have to be in this position, or at least let me try to put it better. Um, um, if the scapula is let's say sliding like towards um, well, it's like sliding like in a downward position. That means that the arm most likely is in an upward position. That's something that I always I helps to remember as well. You might notice also just like how I'm holding the pencil as well. I hold it in a way so that I'm drawing with my entire arm. I'm drawing like with the flat slice, sorry, the flat side of the pencil. So that way I can get um, broader strokes. I don't really well here, yeah. Just looks like I just contradicted myself. But when I turned it to this position, I save that for finer details. But otherwise, usually I would prefer, whenever possible, to try to keep my strokes broad and sweeping. So we're about like 8 minutes in here, and essentially the the figure is pretty clear here. And this is just a basic figure drawing exercise. We're not even talking about like design and stuff like that. But these exercises are very very uh, key in terms of getting you more comfortable with seeing how when you look at the figure, or you look at any figure, how to draw. You're trying to get around like how to draw it. Being able to see is vital for that. Okay. All right. So where do I take it from here? Um, okay. Oh, another thing. When you guys when it comes to like drawing hands and feet, okay. Um, my recommendation is don't spend a lot of time like noodling on hands and feet in terms of like the actual digits and things like that, because when you do that, it's going to start to look overworked. So for me, just like putting like a um, a a gestural shape or volume that suggests the gesture of the hand, or the position of feet is enough. You don't really need people are when they look at the figure, their eyes don't go towards the hands and the feet. They look at the entire figure. Now, if you spend a lot of time, trying to work the hands and the feet, trying to get all the digits right and stuff like that, you will draw attention to it. And it in this case, when it becomes overworked, it's going to be unwanted attention. So what I recommend is just keep it simple. Just putting, let's say, a like a box-like shape for the hands, and then later on, once the rest of the figure is better rendered and clearer, then you can go back and work on the hands. That's my recommendation. So okay, I'm trying to work the folds in the neck here, as um this figure, of course, is not only just like twisting her her torso, but also her head is twisting up. So which that's gonna cause um, this spiraling out kind of shape from the tension from the the back of the neck, like where at the where the jaw is, like going towards the front. Okay. When it comes to like drawing hair, uh, my suggestion is to try to um, draw it as like one collective volume if you can, and try to make it as uh, rhythm based as you can. You don't want like to draw hair that's going to look flat and just like straight and stuff like that, because like hair is almost like drapery. So obviously, it's going to be affected by gravity, but um, it's yeah, it's protruding from where it's coming from the head, so it's going to drape downwards. Um, so you want to have this feeling, that it's, and when things are um, being affected by gravity, if they're falling from something, they don't always necessarily fall straight down. I mean, unless it's extremely heavy. If things are a little bit lighter, they tend to like fall. They tend to fall away, or going downwards, but like kind of like in an arcing kind of way. Okay. All right. So I'm putting a little bit of shading here to imply like a light source. Um, so the way I'm shading it right now, I have to assume that like the light source is coming from above. Okay. Um, and I'm shading it this way is because, well, the areas that are closest to the light are going to be brighter. The areas that are farther away are going to be darker. Um, if you ever like get um, uh, daunted in terms of like how to um, yeah, like how to like render shading or lighting on your figures, my recommendation is to like just to practice like rendering a simple sphere or maybe even an egg for that matter, because that's one of the best ways to understand how light falls around or an organically shaped um, uh, volume and form. And basically, like all these uh, these shapes, that make up the body, like whether um, it's the glutes or the thigh or the calves. Basically, they're all basically just like rounded or egg-like shapes, so you have that same kind of relationship. Okay. So, well, actually, I'm pretty much done with this drawing here. Um, and as you can see, um, look, I started off like very, very light. Um, I don't got in the gesture. Get the gesture down first. That is the most important thing. And when you draw the gesture, just don't draw like a stick figure, okay? You want the gesture to have like a sense of like flow and rhythm to it, because everything you put on top of it, it's going to be supported by that. So even though you'll be putting like, let's say, like cylindrical forms or egg-like forms on top of it, there should be like um, a rhythmical like like gesture beneath it, to help support that. And then like what and then as you go further, you use your understanding of anatomy to um, to help tie things down. Get familiar, with areas, that's always going to help you like to anchor it. My recommendation is, of course, would be like the relationship between the hips and the pelvis. For me, the scapula is always good for the back. Know the rib cage very, very well. Okay. All these things are gonna help support that. Okay. Okay, all right. So I think I'm gonna draw this to a close. This is just a little demo here in terms of just drawing the figure. I hope this is helpful, and I'll be back with another video for you guys in a little bit. Okay, thanks a lot. See you next time. All right, bye bye.